Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's AMA. We have some cool news for you, and we'll be discussing everything that's going on with the project in various ways. I'll hand you over to Herman now. He's going to give us the strategic and core development update, and I'll chat about some of the other things that are going on otherwise. Herman, are you there?
Yes, thank you. Hey, guys. As you guys have been aware for now 2 weeks, the EVM compatibility parachain is online, available for everybody to try and test. We've already received some insightful information about this testing period, and we'll be sure to reward whoever participates in this bounty and provides us insights or valuable information that would help us perfect this code and bring it a step closer to deployment on mainnet. At this point, we are fairly confident that after the ending of the bounty period, we may be able to deploy the EVM compatibility parachain on mainnet within the order of 6 weeks on mainnet. And all that follows. So the first decentralized application essentially leveraging this parachain on mainnet would be the bridge or the inverse route of the bridge, bringing tokens from Cherry over to our wrapped version of tokens on BNB and Polygon. We expect that to take no longer than 4 additional weeks to the 6-week timeline of EVM parachain deployment on mainnet. Beside that, the future is quite optimistic. We're optimistic about the future. We've mentioned this over the past few AMAs. We are now entering a stage that's less core development, rather more superficial product development and business development. So bring these more superficial products either to the attention of a broader consumer base, certainly broader than the core products would be, but also buy these additional tools and buy the work that we've done over the past year, mostly in, if you will, stealth mode, where we continue developing heavily on core without promoting it too much. I think that the time is now, and we'll be far more able now to preach the Cherry vision, indoctrinate and convince people who aren't aware of Cherry now or have heard of it but aren't yet convinced of its value, of the potential we all see, and driving even more value to the project. We'll try to be more concrete about this plan sooner rather than later. But so far, let's keep our eyes on the more immediate goal, which is bug bounty ending, and EVM parachain deployment. Once that's done, the only missing, or rather big core part of Cherry that's yet to be fully deployed and iterated on, and it will be a continuous effort. It's not something that we'll just launch and be happy with it as we are mostly envisioning the launch of the EVM parachain that does allow this compatibility, interoperability layer to EVM, and that's more or less it. We don't really care about iterating more because any further iteration would be adding features to smart contracts and so forth, which isn't really the purpose of this code base. It's rather the ability of smart contracts that would naturally perform better on Ethereum, Polygon, for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is the network effects, to connect and interoperate with the Cherry features. And so we believe this EVM parachain is more or less complete and will be complete once deployment on Meta is complete, and rather only debugged and adjusted, perhaps to match any version updates of the core. The storage, on the other hand, will be a continuous effort. It's begun years ago now. We do have a very rudimentary version of it online now, and we've had it for several months. It hasn't really been publicized because it's not something quite usable, especially on the user side. And yes, the next step, core-wise, is the development of an iteration of this. Now having all these bases covered, we have a infrastructure which was a layer 1, is now a layer 0, one of the most efficient and scalable network organizations, network structures. We have EVM compatibility parachain that allows the tools and services and products deployed on Cherry and native to Cherry to be accessible to general purpose networks, the most used and renowned general purpose networks, such as those that are EVM compatible. I think they dominate maybe 95% of all smart contract or decentralized application activity. We covered all the more hairy concepts such as consensus, treasury, governance, cryptography, all those things very early on. We haven't done much to share our work, but that's been substantial, albeit in cooperation with Substrate, its team, and inheriting a lot of the principles developed by the Substrate framework. And so we have built a lot of equity. And this equity will be certainly carried on, but foundational to both iterating the main product, which is storage, and more immediately giving evidence of the value of Cherry to investors, to users, to developers, and so forth. I've said this before, it may be worth saying this again. Why isn't, it's a broader argument, I'll try to synthesize it the best I can. Why did we decide to invest in core in something like the EVM compatibility parachain over, let's say, marketing? Well, for one, the past few months haven't been very friendly to crypto in general. Any dollar spent in crypto now is, with not a shadow of a doubt, worth less, or rather would return less than the same dollar spent a year and a half ago, simply because demand in cryptos has waned. Whether investing on it now arguably could catch on an uptrend in the short period, that may be true, but it's still highly speculative. So it is, for one, for sure, a dollar spent now in marketing alone is worth less than a dollar spent, let's say, a year and a half ago, when the conditions of the market were more friendly. And even if you bring on the speculative condition of, well, if you spend $1 now, you anticipate an uptrend such that, you can be in a better position competition-wise, so not as an absolute, but rather in the context of other crypto projects. That may be true, but again, it's based on the highly speculative, highly conditional premise that things may go better, and they very well may, but I don't see it as our business to predict the market or play that very risky game with our treasury's money. And so instead of spending money on marketing, spending money and resources, frankly, even more so than money, on the image of Cherry, which we all agree and understand isn't where it should be as an absolute, and most certainly does not mirror and reflect the incredible value that we've built on it in its technology. We spent money and time building this technology. Now, without going into, once again, our long-winded explanation as to what technology we built and why it has value, let's assume it does have value. Let's just make the argument of why is this choice better as far as, let's say, our organization is concerned. We're certainly limited by our competencies. We, as a team, lean more toward technical competencies rather than more soft skills like marketing. We believe that this decision is not only good in respect to our internal resources, so a better bang for a buck as far as leveraging our existing resources and our existing competencies, but also compared to marketing, as I described earlier. And why is that? Because by investing in technology, we're building value. We're building products. We're building technologies. We're building true, tangible outputs that endure, whether be it down markets or up markets, times where there's significant interest, both for developers and users in blockchain technologies, and times where there hasn't been that much interest. We build these products, we build these technologies such that at a later stage, for one, any further communication about Cherry is more valid, is more truthful, because it's less speculative. We're less suggesting of a future value of Cherry, of the capabilities of our team, which many projects do very well, and there's certainly value in preaching that story. But the far more concrete, far more interesting, in my opinion, marketing and imaging and positioning is, this is what we've built. This is what we've built in spite of market conditions, in spite of the broader competitive landscape preferring one strategy over this one. In our opinion, wasting time and energy on trying to capture and capitalize on an ever shrinking demand, simply because they had nothing better to spend their money on. And rather, we built true value, and we've done so in a very methodical and measured way. And this is what it is. That's the value that you don't need to expect. You don't need to fully comprehend some future potential of the thing and create some odd and speculative plan about what Sherry's future could be like, but rather you can sit and evaluate as an investor, as a user, as a developer, the equity, the value that's been built already. And then make the decision to either invest, to either buy in as a user, or invest your time, your team's time building on Sherry as a developer. And also, with this I'll stop, the additional benefits as a user and as a developer is that these products, sure, in the case of Core, are somewhat abstract and somewhat intangible. But what we've built in conjunction with a very sophisticated core that's a layer 0, that's highly scalable, that has and inherits the most cutting edge cryptographic and consensus principles from Polkadot, from Substrate, and this very vibrant ecosystem, we've built tools such as Trade.place, such as Scan, the Explorer, both the Substrate Explorer that will soon be online, and the EVM Explorer, and the address converter, soon a web wallet, so on and so forth, that makes integration as a developer and use of these products so much more simple, so that you don't need to go to GitHub and see and forecast what the future will hold, which is the case for many projects, and how most of I guess trading activity is grounded on. You don't need to go on our GitHub and see, oh, this is what they worked on so far, and yeah, there's value there. No, you can open a page, you can click a few buttons, exactly as you would on any large-scale, sophisticated project, and truly interact with these products yourself, and then make a much more reasoned thought process to decide whether what's there has value, whether it has value compared to any other potential project or investment vying for your attention. And in the case of a developer specifically, whether all these things that we've built over the past few months and years enable you to build a better product, a better dApp, better smart contract for cheaper, with more functionality, and with a better overall experience, both for yourself as a developer and for your user. And so hopefully that's true. All this, which is once again also an assumption, all this pans out to be true. But even if it isn't, I think what's important that I somewhat request of you guys is that you understand the thought process, you understand why we made these decisions, and if you're not persuaded, I think you should be, give an argument as to why. Because saying, oh, maybe we should do marketing, sure, is a proper suggestion where there isn't a valid alternative. This is the nuance that we as a team think of and try to balance every day, every week, every month as we make these decisions and adjust our strategy. And so even if we turn out to be wrong, and we may be, I don't think we're going to be wrong. And at least if we are wrong, I think we'll be wrong less so than others. At least you comprehend why we made this decision and hopefully support these decisions as valid, not necessarily too conservative, not necessarily too speculative, rather valid, a proper mean, a proper middle ground that accounts both for our internal abilities and internal lackings and the reality of a broader market, of a broader industry, of a broader economy, broader macroeconomy, where the players are far beyond our grasp, far beyond our comprehension, far beyond our control. That, once again, money spent in this context is just a little bit less valuable than in a context where we do have more control, in a context where more information is known. With that, I'll leave you. Thank you. I'm sorry for going on for so long. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them by chat or next week. And I'll leave you to Owen, who has a few updates himself.
Thank you, Herman. That's very enlightening. It's always good to share with the community what kind of things we're thinking of and how we plan to kind of escalate and ramp things up over the next while, and what the community can expect from us in terms of deliverables and also communication. So thank you very much. I myself, as you might be able to hear, I'm quite sick at the moment. So I'm going to keep my update kind of brief. Then I will give you guys more background to some of the things that I mentioned, probably later on during the week or maybe tomorrow. First and foremost, we have the merch site. I'm just waiting for a couple of marketing elements, and then that will be launched, but it's actually already up and live. All we have to do is to, we just have to announce it. So that's going to happen in the next couple of hours. Probably by 7 p.m. Another update that I wanted to give was with regards to prizes. I'm going to be paying previous quiz winners this evening. So anybody listening, if you haven't sent me your BSc address for your prizes, then please do. And I'll get those prizes out today. And aside from that, and of course, the quiz winners from today's quiz will also be paid today as well. With regards to marketing and other things that I wanted to go over for today, as Herman has discussed, the bug bounty is ongoing. It's quite an important activity. Everybody who takes part will receive some rewards, which is cool. And we will be, when that's wrapping up, we will be escalating more marketing aspects as well. But for the moment, all focus is on the bug bounty. I wanted to get an increase or more community collaboration from you guys with regards to our social media posts and stuff. I wanted to do that start that last Friday. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of issues with some of the social accounts and in specific Twitter. We're having some just kind of issues with the accounts and authorizations and stuff on Twitter because they did a recent upgrade. So that's why there was a slight delay in that. But I hope that that's going to be solved in the next 48 hours. And then we'll be able to push on with that. What it will involve is basically we're going to just kind of try and increase the community sentiment and momentum across different social networks, and that will have an immediate return, especially given, as Herman discussed, all of the actual progress that's been realized by the developers, which can now be shared with a wider audience. So that's going to be quite exciting. In keeping with that, we also have internally we have a big focus on our website refresh, which I'm hoping will be out within a couple of weeks. And also, video explainers are being worked on with our video partners. They look really good. We're going to be sharing them soon, and they're the kind of thing that you can really spam around. And people who haven't heard the project probably appreciate it because they are quite enticing, entertaining, and insightful. So that would be cool. We have some discussion of some other activity within the ecosystem projects. Just waiting to iron out the small details on those. I'm hoping again that by Friday we'll have a chat about that. I'll just post about it in the chat so you guys can just check up and then you'll be filled in on what's going on there. And then finally, in the real world, we are, or in the physical world, sorry, we are going to be going to quite a few events over the next few weeks, and also looking to arrange our own events. We haven't exactly decided where it'll be. I think it'll probably be early September at this point when the first one will be, but it'll be somewhere most likely in Western Europe. But we're going to try and have some a bit further afield this time around. So over the next few months, we'll have a lot of opportunity to talk to you guys in person again, which I think will tie in well with the increased emphasis on marketing, etc. So those are tangibly some of the things we're working on. Any questions, you can just pop them in the chat. I'm going to leave you with the quiz now. And as I mentioned, I'm going to reach out to some of the quiz winners from previous weeks right now. And then later on, I'll announce the winners from this week's. Thank you all for joining us. I'll be in touch with you guys later and over the next couple of days. And in the meantime, have a very nice Wednesday or whatever day it is where you are at the moment. Thanks very much, guys. I'll talk to you later.